Question 1. 1A, I define econometrics. 3 marks. Question, define econometrics. 3 marks. Answer. Econometrics is the application of economic theory, mathematics, and statistical methods to measure economic relationships and obtain numerical estimates of economic parameters. 1A, define economic model. 3 marks. Question, define economic model. Answer. An economic model is a simplified mathematical representation of an economic theory or economic relationship, showing how economic variables are related. 1A, define econometric model. 3 marks. Question, define econometric model. 3 marks. Answer. An econometric model is an economic model expressed mathematically and supplemented with a random disturbance term to account for factors that cannot be completely explained by the included variables. Hashtag 1A, IV, define disturbances. To question, define disturbances. 2 marks. Answer. A disturbance is a random term in an econometric model that represents the effects of factors affecting the dependent variable which are not explicitly included in the model. Question 1. 3 major aims of econometrics. 6 marks. Question. Explain the 3 major aims of econometrics. Answer. 1. Testing economic theories. Econometrics is used to test whether economic theories are supported by actual economic data. 2. Policymaking. Econometrics provides quantitative information that helps governments and policymakers formulate and evaluate economic policies. 3. Forecasting. Econometric models are used to predict future economic values or behavior based on available information. At my 1C, 4 types of data. 8 marks. Question. Explain the 4 various types of data used in the estimation of econometric models. 8 marks. Answer. 1. Time series data. Data collected on the same variable or variables over different periods of time. 2. Cross-sectional data. Data collected from different individuals, firms, households, countries, or other units at a particular point in time. 3. Pooled data. A combination of cross-sectional and time series observations. 4. Panel data. Data containing observations on the same cross-sectional units repeatedly over different periods of time. To map to AA, interpretation. 3 marks. Question. Interpret the estimated model. 3 marks. Answer. Income. Holding family size constant, a 1-unit increase in income increases household consumption by approximately 0.667 units on average. Family size. Holding income constant, a 1-unit increase in family size increases household consumption by approximately 1.167 units on average. Intercept. When income and family size are 0, estimated consumption is 1 unit. 2B. 5 assumptions of OLS. 5 marks. Question. State 5 assumptions of the ordinary least square. 5 marks. Answer. 1. Linearity. 2. Random sampling. 3. Zero conditional mean. 4. No perfect multicollinearity. 5. Homoscedasticity. Question 3. Hammer 3B. 3 types of lagged variables. 6 marks. Question. State the 3 types of lagged variables with corresponding model equations. Answer. 1. Finite distributed lag, yt equal alpha plus beta 0xt, beta 1xt1 plus c dots plus beta kxtk plus ut. 2. Infinite distributed lag, yt equal alpha beta 0x plus beta 1xt1 plus beta 2xt plus tots plus ut. 3. Autoregressive lagged dependent variable model, yt equal tots beta yt banded 1. Yes. The problem with the previous version is that it gives you definitions without telling you when the examiner would use them. For revision, you want term, when you see it in a question, what to write do. I'll keep the material tied to your PDF and not include the 4 definitions we already covered. The PDF's regression section covers simple regression, OLS estimation, and multiple regression. Do I use this? Script 1. Theoretical econometrics. If the question says, define theoretical econometrics or distinguish theoretical from applied econometrics. Answer. Theoretical econometrics deals with developing econometric methods and techniques for measuring economic relationships. 2. Applied econometrics. If the question says, define applied econometrics or ask about the practical application of econometrics. Answer. Applied econometrics is the application of econometric methods to real economic problems using economic data. 3. Econometric research. If the question says, what is econometric research? Explain the procedure or stages of econometric research. Answer. Econometric research is the process of using economic theory, statistical methods, and data to formulate, estimate, and evaluate an economic model. Remember the stages: specification, estimation, evaluation, forecasting. 4. Model specification. If the question says, what is specification? What is the first stage of econometric research? Answer. Model specification is the stage where the variables and functional form of the econometric model are determined. 5. Model estimation. If the question says, what is estimation? What happens after specification? Answer. Model estimation is the process of obtaining numerical values for the unknown parameters of the specified model. 6. Model evaluation. If the question says, what is evaluation? How do we determine whether an estimated model is satisfactory? Answer. Model evaluation is the process of testing an estimated model to determine whether it is statistically and economically satisfactory. 7. Forecasting. If the question says, what is forecasting? What is the purpose of an estimated econometric model? Answer. Forecasting is the use of an estimated econometric model to predict future values of economic variables. 8. Correlation. Correlation. If the question says, define correlation or explain the relationship between two variables. Answer. Correlation is a statistical measure of the degree and direction of relationship between two variables. 9. Positive correlation. If the question says, what type of relationship exists when two variables move in the same direction? Answer. Positive correlation occurs when two variables move in the same direction. 10. Negative correlation. If the question says, what type of relationship exists when one variable increases while the other decreases? Answer. Negative correlation occurs when two variables move in opposite directions. 11. Correlation coefficient. If the question gives you a table and says, calculate or determine the strength and direction of the relationship, use the correlation coefficient, R. It measures the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two variables. The PDF includes an actual correlation calculation, so recognize this as a calculation question, not only a definition. Regression OLS. If the question says, define simple regression, write the regression model, or calculate the regression coefficients using 1x. Use yi beta z beta 1xi. Simple regression has one dependent variable and one explanatory variable. 13. OLS. If the question says, estimate the regr B0 and B1, or calculate the regression equation, use OLS. OLS estimates the regression parameters by minimizing the sum of squared residuals. The PDF gives the formulas for estimating B0 and B1. 14. Intercept B0. If the question says, interpret B0. Answer, TED value of the dependent variable when the explanatory variable is 0. 15. Slope B1. If the question says, interpret B1, the slope or the coefficient of x. Answer, the slope measures the average change in the dependent variable resulting from a one-unit change in the explanatory variable. 16. Multiple linear regression. If the question gives you two or more explanatory variables, such as ci equals beta 0s beta 11y plus beta 2fi plus ei, use multiple regression. If asked to calculate the coefficients, estimate B0, B1, B2. The PDF specifically develops the two explanatory variable model and its estimation. More simple way to recognize them.